Okay, I thought I'd do a maintenance list on a Land Rover Discovery 4. It's another white one. Fancy that. Most of them are white. I just had a customer come in and collect their Disco 4. He came into the workshop, looked at it, and I said, no, this one's not yours. They went, oh, yeah, it looks the same. Yeah. So they're often white. This is a last model one. So it's got the latest style headlight and grille. This one's come in for its timing belt and a service. So I thought while I was here, I would do the maintenance list. So after all the song and dance about oil technology and all the rest of it, the best thing you can do to an engine is change the oil. So I recommend every 10,000 Ks or every 6 months. And whether you use 5W30, 5W40, let's face it, I'm sure I could put 10W40 in and it would be fine. And that'll make people jump up and down and, oh, you can't put 1040. Really? There's no DPFs on these, in Australia anyway. We don't have the shit European spec ones with DPFs. So change the oil and filter every 10,000 Ks, and fuel filter and the air filter, and all should be good. So some of the other maintenance items is this top hose. It can get a cut through here from the engine cover. So when they come in and the cut, I replace the hose. That's the engine cover, and you can see I've got a paint marker. That's how much I'm going to chop off the engine cover. So I modify all these covers to stop that. What else? This one has got its original manifolds because you can see the barcode. That's the original, and it's still got the engine number on the plate. When I do the manifolds, I'll take that plate off and I'll attach it to the new manifold, which a lot of guys don't seem to do. This is also a later spec one. The integrated transfer case control module is under the ABS brake lines there, which makes it that little bit harder. Before that, it was right here with the glow plug control module. The very last, they shifted it again, and the glow plug control module is at the front of the airbox. So some of the other maintenance items, every now and then, every 3 or 4 services, I will clean the engine bay down. This one is due to have its engine bay cleaned down. And just that plug, I spray some silicone spray on it. A lot of these plugs, I will do that too. That harness plug, the ABS module and those plugs. You can spray up around the harness as well. Most of these harnesses don't have any lube from factory, as in a powder or a gel. So they can suffer where wires abrade against each other and it rubs off the insulation, and then you get all sorts of crazy electrical faults. So again, these plugs, that harness plug, the ECU behind the battery there, when that all comes out, because I have to take it all out to get to that rear belt, I will spray all the harness and all the plugs, not the pins. If you want to spray the actual pins, then use something like, let's go over and have a look. Let's have a look. Electrical clean and lube. I don't think it matters a shit what brand you use. You can On some pins, if it's particularly problematic, you can use carbon conductive grease, which is not the same as dielectric grease, which isn't a conductor. So time belt assemblies. Also, there's the genuine tensioner bolt and the bolts for the idler. But the one is important is this is why I don't get complete genuine time belt kits. I get the individual kits and all the individual pieces, because if you get the complete kits, genuine or the complete Dayco kits, you don't get good quality NTN Japanese bearings. So the original ones, when I take them off that disco, they'll be NTN Japanese bearings. But at some point, they jump to a no-brand bearing. This one-handed thing is just nuts. But I'm going to put it down for a minute. Oh, there's your part numbers for your belts anyway. So if we go to this bearing, the camera doesn't show it, but it does have written on it NTN and Japan. These are the proper ones. I'm not putting no branded, guess where they're made, time belt idlers, the pulleys. There's a top hose, a top genuine hose. That one's good, so I don't have to replace it. So that's for some reason the colour they've changed. So this is brand new stock. There's the part number for that top hose. Again, I only use a genuine one. There's our top coolant outlet. Yeah, let's see if I can. Damn it. Yeah. One day I'll prep all these items, so I'm not doing this one-handed stuff, or I don't know, I'll just stop doing videos. There's a genuine top coolant outlet. I replace them, say that halfway point between a time belt's due. So every, 70 or 80,000, or every 3 years. Most of these discos that turn up, unlike the old 3s, the 4s have just done nowhere near the kilometres. So you have to revert to year, which is it's 168,000 kilometres or every 7 years. So that top coolant outlet I change out at 70 or 80,000 or every 3 years. The top hose we've covered, modifying the engine acoustic cover. We sorted. I'm just going through a bit of a list. The harness plug behind the battery. So these are just general maintenance items. So if we go to the back of the disco, door locks. I generally lube them just with a bit of silicone spray, just in there, because guys will use lithium grease, which is fine, but if you've got pretty customers that are in and out their vehicle, the last thing they are going to want is lithium grease on pants or a dress. Yeah. Tailgate lubing is an important one. Lube that roller in there. Lube that latch on both sides. lube that lock, and I normally spray some silicone spray along that line. That just stops a lot of water ingress behind that whole panel, which will cause the latch failure. I mean, the little micro switch can fail anyway. Here's another one, but I need my torch. Let's go back, get the torch. There's another main harness plug at the back of the vehicle that everyone misses. Let's go down and see if we can shine a torch. Oh yeah, look. Alright, so see that panel? If you pull that panel back, there's, it's pretty hard with the shadow. Hang on, I'll get my torch the other way. Three hands, I think, would be good in doing all this sort of crap. So that is the main harness for a lot of the air suspension and bits and pieces. The right where the torch ends is that harness that goes into the plug. That is prone, those wires are prone to all chafing against each other. You can see in there, you really can't see, but it's there. All those wires are prone to chafing against each other. I will clean all that, spray it with some silicone spray, and each time it comes in for service, I generally give them a good spray with silicone spray, and that'll stop those wires chafing against each other. You can do that little valve assembly for the air suspension. Most of those plastic bits and pieces you can spray with a bit of silicone spray. These dust covers, you can spray them. Once they get it into high mileage, 250, 300,000, those dust covers, top and bottom, can often deteriorate through heat, excessive use, whatever. What else? Interior. With the cup holder out, see that orange handle? If you lift it, there's a little dial with a slot. You turn it quarter of a turn, and then you pull that handle, and that's your neutral. I will pop this into neutral while it's into the workshop, just before I disconnect the battery. That way I can roll it backwards and forwards. I don't need to do the time belts on the hoist. You can get to the back one just by leaning over if you're not too much of a big boy. I've got enough padding though that I can lay on top of the engine with a cover, and I can get to that rear belt. So another one is when you're changing out the air filters. Oh yeah, that's going to be a possibility. The top seal of the air filter, again, I normally spray with a little bit of silicone spray. Does it have to be silicone spray? No, you can use whatever spray, WD-40. And people say, oh, that deteriorates the rubber. Yeah, it will, but your air filter is not going to be in the car long enough for that to happen. But certainly everything else that's rubber and plastic, use a silicone spray that is good for rubbers and plastics. So there's the Series 500 silicone spray. It's good for rubber, plastics, all those bits and pieces as a general lube throughout the vehicle. And it doesn't have a smell, which is good. So that's the silicone spray, the one that says on the can, silicone spray. For all your metal bits and pieces, but nothing on the interior, or for loosening bolts, general stuff in the workshop, Penetrine, another Australian-made product. Penetrine is awesome. It's unmatched. CRC, WD-40, Penetrine. That is the bomb. A genuine belt, it'll get a genuine fan belt or auxiliary drive belt, is what it's technically called nowadays. I think that's about everything. you know, proactive maintenance. Underneath, I'll use the silicone spray on all the rubber bushes, even the bushes on the lower control arms, even though typically I expect to change them out every 70 or 100,000 kilometres. They will last longer with some silicone spray on them. I think that is just about it. If I don't get too exhausted, I may do one of the time belt, although I probably won't. Yeah, we'll see how we go. These are standard halogen headlights that a lot of owners complain about. Yeah, they clearly haven't driven a old Land Rover Defender at night. That's about it. So I'll see how this video looks, and I may or may not post it. That's about all I can think. Oh, Bosch wiper blades, the one-piece ones. These are Australian part numbers. So, I think it's BBA 550. I don't know what AR20... I think AR22, yeah, that's what it is. So, in Australia, wiper blades for a Disco 4, BBA 550. In Euroland, it's AR22U. And again in Australia, Defender, Classic Defender, BBA 350. So they're the two important ones. So if you don't live in Australia, I mean, who really cares? There's the Australian part number and the Euro part number. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that because I've got nothing more to say. All right, thanks, bye.